Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to answer your questions regarding the Walking Dead, finale, and some questions, from episode 7 here. And yeah, thank you for posting all of your questions. If you do want to take part in these Q&As, definitely go and join the Discord. The finale is airing this Sunday, but afterwards there's going to be this big build, obviously, to Comic-Con. And so we'll see how the finale ends here and how they set up Season 3. Comic-Con next month is really exciting. It's about a month away now, actually. We'll get a lot of Walking Dead updates there, as well as the trailer for the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, which is likely going to be premiering in September, October, so we really don't have to wait that long for the other show at all. And then I'm assuming after that, at the end of November, when the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 is over, we'll probably have a little bit of a wait for the Walking Dead Dead City Season 3, maybe 4 or 5 months. But, let's just enjoy The Walking Dead being around as much as it's going to be this year, right? So, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. But let's actually get into the very first question here. Q&A. In the episode 8 teaser, there's a scene where it looks like Pearlie swings at Negan. Why do you think that happens? I think that, it must have to do with, what's happening with the methane storyline, right? It might be where maybe he has to side with Bruegel at this point now, and maybe it's one of those things where it's if he actually does take him out, then a lot of his problems go away, right? If you actually think about it, if he took out Negan, all of his problems go away, entirely. All of his problems with New Babylon, all of that will go away. So, it depends on what's happening with the story, but that could be a part of it there. It could just be something like that. It could just be something that, happens in the finale where maybe Bruegel does die and, Pearlie is involved in some way, or I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how all this plays out here. But I do think that, it's possible that Pearlie is against him. He was before. It would make sense that he would be now because he's not necessarily with him at all. He's with Maggie, right? But he's not with him. So I could see it. I could see him actually being against him, but that's the only thing about that is Pearlie would be kind of a villain. At least that's how I would view him anyways, because he's with New Babylon, and New Babylon, to me, they're villains. So we'll have to wait and see. Q&A, do you think the CRM are aware of what methane can do? And if so, could this cause Rick and Michonne to be called for help to fight for it? I think that it would make a lot of sense. It really just depends on where the storyline's going to go here for this very last episode. I have a feeling that the storyline could end here. Maybe not, though. There's a lot of setup for Season 3. Apparently, there's going to be setup here in the finale for Season 3. At least that's what I've heard. So I think that, it depends on what that means too, maybe there's a new villain or there's something else that's set up there for Season 3 that's really interesting. We'll have to wait and see. I'm really excited for the finale here. Even though I would really like Dwight to show up, he doesn't have to show up to make it more exciting. It depends on what they do with the story and how they set up Season 3. That really is mostly what matters here, right? So we'll have to wait and see what happens overall, but I think that, the methane storyline, if it does get really big where, that's something that sets up, future stories for Rick and Michonne to reunite with other characters, then, I think we'll learn a little bit more about it here. But we'll have to wait and see what happens here in the finale, because it's something that they're building up in Season 2 here, but we'll have to wait and see, I think, after the finale to really know, what's happening with everything, I would say. Q&A, love the content, keep it up. First of all, thank you so much for that. And do you think there's any possibility of a Rick mention or connection? Because honestly, I'm tired of them ignoring him. Well, I guess I would say, I guess I get it. I definitely am, there is a part of me that's it makes sense that sometimes you should mention, Rick Grimes or Daryl or any of the other characters. Why not, right? There's no reason why you don't have to. I understand it from a certain point, but I also am just well, you can write it that way. The characters are in the same world. I see the comment quite a bit, why would Dwight even be on this show? It makes no sense. To me, I'm literally this show has been about the savior arc, if anything. It's been a connection to that, or a different part of that story, right? There's other things happening, but the Croat has a connection to, the savior arc. There's been a lot of characters that we've seen, Simon, right? And Lucille. Like, there's certain characters overall that I'm like, it makes sense to show up here, and Dwight is a character that it completely makes sense to show up. So that's why I think that, you know, for the character to show up here in Dead City season 3, even if it's not in the finale here, like maybe it's set up for season 3's finale, right? Like, that's the one thing about Dwight is, and that's the one thing about, like, you know, writing for The Walking Dead and stuff in general, is like a lot of stuff happens usually if there's a lot of complaints about things, right? Like, it doesn't happen right away, but eventually it does. So I think if there's a lot of, like, you know, like, we want to see Dwight and this and that, like maybe they're hearing it right now for season 2, but a lot of season 3 has been written already, and so maybe they're going to have him show up at the very end of season 3, but then work on a story for season 4 or something like that, right? We'll have to wait and see. Q&A, do you think Officer Friendly and Rick are the same person? That's a really funny question. Q&A, do you think Maggie will lose a limb in the finale or be in a near-death experience that causes Negan to save her? I don't think so. I think if anything, it might be the other way around. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like maybe, you know, Negan, after he's like Lucilleing people and all of that, maybe something happens where he gets hurt or something like that, but Maggie eventually gets the bat, right? Like, I could just see that happening where Maggie has Lucille and then she has to Lucille somebody because Negan is not able to, right? So I want to see how they do all of that there, but yeah, that's kind of how I see it playing out there. Q&A, do you think The Walking Dead is good right now? Why or why not? I do think The Walking Dead is good right now. I think that the issue that they're having is they really do need to make things more exciting and make the worlds feel a lot more connected. Like, that really is just the complaint overall. I think everyone likes the stories as they are, but it's just, like, if there was more references to, like, Rick Grimes, or if there's more references to other characters or anything like that, I think, and I just realized I didn't really answer the other question properly, but, you know, as for Rick Grimes or getting a Rick Grimes mention at all in the finale, I think that it would be really amazing. Stuff like that is what you need to do to make everything a little bit more exciting. Like, it's not like it's something where it's like, oh, you're just referencing all these moments to get people to be really excited about the show. It's like, no, it's because these characters are still out there. These characters are still a part of the world, and you want to build all of this up, right? Like, I feel like moments like that, Easter eggs like that, you can complain about if they're doing a next generation story, like years into the future, and the characters aren't really around anymore. Then I could see a lot of complaints if you're talking about like Rick Grimes or telling this story of this. Then it's like, okay, you're just mentioning this stuff because people like those characters. Right now, the characters are still around, right? So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think The Walking Dead is good right now. I think that this year specifically is actually better than last year. Would I say it's better than 2023? I'd say it's probably very similar. We'll have to wait and see where The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3 goes. It could be better than that year, although Fear the Walking Dead was, I mean, it wasn't really the greatest season at all, but the show ended, so there was a lot of that. I mean, is it better than 2022 with the final season of The Walking Dead? I would say probably not, because there was a lot of excitement after that, but we'll have to wait and see where things go here. I think it is in a really good place. They just need to make a lot more connections, and it's very simple to do. It's a very, very simple thing to do that Gimple just doesn't do for some reason. And it's a really interesting thing, because he'll do it sometimes. He'll actually reference this or that, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. And some characters will be a part of the story. Like, honestly, he was doing it a lot back in the day with like Morgan and Dwight going on Fear the Walking Dead, right? But a lot of people complained about that too, and I mean, maybe it's just that, right? Like, maybe there were too many complaints back then, so now it's more just like, oh, we want to tell these more standalone stories, right? I don't know, but I do think that there will be more connections here and there, and I think that he is sort of testing it, because we saw Simon in season 1, we saw Lucille and Annie and Joshua here in season 2. We'll see if we see anybody in the finale. When it comes to other characters in like The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, there wasn't any characters, but Laurent is going back to the Commonwealth, right? So if Laurent is going back to the Commonwealth, I mean, that was kind of a cool reference, right? And I wonder what that will lead to in future seasons. But yeah, going back to, I guess, what you said originally, do I think The Walking Dead is good right now? Yes, I do. I think that there could be some things that can make it way more exciting here, and I don't know why they're not doing it. And I think that's why there's a lot of frustration there. It's not like people are just like, okay, I'm moving on. It's like, there's all of these possibilities. Anyone can write this stuff, but Scott Gimple, for some reason, is just not doing it. So yeah, I don't know. But I will just say, let's just wait to see what happens at Comic-Con, because there's been a lot of complaints about this recently, and yeah, I mean, he hasn't talked about it in a while. So I think that he's hearing all the complaints, and we'll have to wait and see what happens here at Comic-Con. But yeah, anyways, Q&A. What happened to the variants in World Beyond? So With the variants in World Beyond, I think that, I mean, at some point we should eventually get back to that. It really does depend, though, on, some stuff, because, like, Scott Gimple got into some stuff there in, I guess, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2, where he sort of gave us a little bit more information on, like, the origins of the Walker virus and stuff. So we'll have to wait and see if there's any sort of connection in Spain, right, with The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3, but at this point, yeah, we're just we'll have to wait and see. Q&A, do you wish the Walking Dead spin-offs would have focused on the CRM leading into The Ones Who Live? Yeah, I think they should have done that a lot more. Like, I mean, the CRM honestly are just amazing overall, and I feel like with The Walking Dead final season, there should have been way more, like, connections and, like, Easter eggs there. Like, I do think a lot of what Pamela Milton and Lance were talking about were the connections to the CRM, but there should have been a lot more things there where certain characters found out about stuff, but, like, maybe they had no idea what that would mean, or this and that, right? And I think that that's something that, like, maybe you don't have to get into on The Walking Dead, that's fine, but maybe that gives Daryl a lot of information on, like, where to go, and, like, that literally does nothing for his story. If you think about it, you could have done all of that, people would have been really excited, and then Daryl has, like, a goal in mind. He's like, I know the CRM are out there, there's a place out there that's like that, Rick has to be there because of this and that, and, like, it just makes a lot of sense. And then he goes over there, but then he ends up, in the same situation where he eventually ends up in France. Like, that was so easy to write right there, and you still made all the same connections, and you're still telling the same story, but now everything is just better connected, right? Like, that's my issue right now with how Scott Gimple is running The Walking Dead, is just, it's those little things like that. Like, you just got to connect things a lot more, do a better job at that. And I think with the CRM, yeah, it was very frustrating, I think, going into The Ones Who Live. That's why, honestly, when you look back at World Beyond, like, there's actually some stuff there that is kind of, I would say, more enjoyable now because, I mean, they never really got into the CRM that much after that, right? So there's a lot there about the CRM in that show. And yeah, obviously in The Ones Who Live, there's a lot more there too. But Q&A, do you think The Last of Us handles their timelines better than The Walking Dead? I thought of this question after it was revealed Benjamin was only 10 when the outbreak started, which is the same age of Carl in season 1, I think. In The Last of Us, we know what year the apocalypse started and what year we're currently in as of season 2. I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, they're probably handling their timelines better. I just don't really think about the timelines that much, to be honest, because the timelines are always going to change just based off of what they want to do with the story. Like, if they want to get certain characters older, they're going to say it takes place, like, this amount of years in the future or something, right? Like, it's never going to be, like, just this amount of time or whatever. Like, we're never going to know the day or the month. Like, we might know the season, but, like, you know what I mean? That's just the way it's kind of always been. And I think The Last of Us is just a small enough story, though, where they're able to sort of get away with that right now, because they never really got into it a lot, if you think about it. It's 2 seasons, right? So there was only really a few time periods where it's like, yeah, you jump forward 20 years or whatever amount, and it's like 4 or 5 years later, and you know what I mean? So, like, it's easier, I would say, for The Last of Us to sort of do that, whereas with The Walking Dead, the characters have been traveling everywhere for a long time. But yeah, with The Last of Us, I guess I would have to say it probably is doing a better job of handling their timelines, but I think it's just because The Walking Dead's been going on for a really long time now, but yeah, I think The Walking Dead's timeline right now is honestly not that bad. I would say that it makes a lot of sense. I'm always off like a year or two, and it always seems like they're always off like a year or two or something, but yeah. Q&A. When and where do you think we could see Fear the Walking Dead characters again? Well, Fear the Walking Dead. Well, I don't know, to be honest. I think some characters could show up at some point in the future, for sure. I think that is a possibility. It really depends on, I guess, the story. I think that an Endgame reunion story, you could see that. It would be nice to connect a little bit more of that show to The Walking Dead. There's been a lot of connections from The Walking Dead going to Fear. I would like to see the connections the other way, where you have Fear characters on The Walking Dead. I guess it can't be on The Walking Dead now, but you know what I mean? Like, it could be on, like an Endgame spinoff or whatever. I think that would be really cool. It's one of those things where you can't have all the characters coming together. Like, it would have to be some characters that show up, right? Like Strand, right? Like, maybe Strand just shows up. It's going to be something random like that. You can't have all the characters reuniting. It would make no sense. Like, for The Walking Dead, it does, because they're all going to the Commonwealth, right? So they all know where to go. That's where they're all going to reunite. It's like they all know specifically where certain people are. I think with Fear the Walking Dead, all those characters went everywhere. and there's not really a place where they can all reunite. But if some of the characters showed up in like, the Commonwealth or something like that, then that would make some sense, but I don't think all the characters are going to be there. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when we're going to see any Fear characters again, but I would like to, like I think Alicia and Madison, it would be kind of cool to see them show up at some point, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.